Hello and welcome. This is a video about Instance Wrangler's advanced copy. So that's what we have right here in the menu. And well, this little guy here, he's going to help us explain how to use advanced copy. So in Blender, you can already, of course, create copies of objects in different ways. You can use Shift-D to create unlinked duplicates. You can use Alt-D to create linked duplicates. So these are now all still linked to each other. And you can hit Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V, and that will also create a copy of your selection. So there's already a lot you can do with creating duplicates in Blender, but this builds on top of that and makes it even more precise and specific, the things you can do. So on its surface, like I'll dive into this guy here a little bit more in depth in a minute, what we're dealing with. Say I wanted to create a copy of this guy, which is just a merged version of the visual geometry. So the way we can do that is make sure we have everything selected, and we can just hit merged copy. So now I'll move it off to the side. This is a completely merged copy of the geometry. We can go into it and change things. So that's immediately useful because that's something you can export into a game engine or do whatever else you need to do with it. So next to creating a merged copy, we can also just create a linked copy that'll copy everything that we had selected, and now these are new objects and they are also linked to the originals. Similarly, we can do an unlinked copy, and these are now not linked to the originals. They are still linked within the new group. So if I select this one right here, scale it, they're linked to the new group but not to the old. You saw me moving the newly created copies off to the side every time, and I built in this functionality which helps with that. So here we have the row that says offset, and this is X, Y, and Z, and relative or absolute. So that is a little bit similar to the stuff in the multi-transform menu. So let's say we set this to 2, and I'm gonna click merged copy. Well, I should have set it to a bit higher value, but you can see what it does. It just offsets the model. So let's say we set it to 5 instead, merged copy, and there we go. If I turn off relative and let's actually select both of these now and say merged copy. Now it's gonna send it all the way over here because we're off in the weeds a little bit. So this is 0, 0, 0 in world space, and this is where we're working. So it put it at 5, 0, 0. That's the new coordinates because that's what we told it here as well. And of course you can do any combination of this as well. So now it ended up there. Click this button to reset those values. So I'll get rid of this one for now as well. Oh, let me undo that for a second. You see the pivot of this newly created object. It's somewhere in the center. So this is probably the center of the bounding box. If I select everything and I, without an active object included in the selection, and I just hit merge copy, let's give it a little bit of an offset again. Merge copy, it's going to put the pivot point in the center of the bounding box. However, if we have a selection with the active object, with an active object in there, then that will be the new pivot point. One thing to also notice that even though like this is a helper object, it's oh, I accidentally have a few too many now. Let's get rid of them. So even though this is a helper object, it is not something that gets included in the merged copy. So the end result here is just going to be merged geometry. So all of those helpers, even though they were included in the selection, they don't really become part of the merged mesh. So we could even select like his shoulder, create a merged copy, and then the pivot point is over there, or any other piece of geometry. And that is, of course, only with merged copy, because if we were to say unlinked copy, then they all have their own pivot. Yeah, one other thing I'd like to point out real quick as well is that we're creating a merged mesh that consists out of different types of geometry originally. So right here, this is a surface. This is actual geometry, as is this as well. So all the green components are mesh geometry. And then this is a curve object. So regardless of all those different types of things, it just is able to create like a visual merged mesh out of it. The name, so we can say by default it creates a mesh that's named merged mesh, or merged copy, sorry. But instead we can give it a more specific name, so we could call him like Instance Wrangler guy, merged copy, and then there we go. That's the name of him now. This also works with the linked copy and unlinked copy. So if, for example, if we keep this empty and we say linked copy, it's gonna, just duplicate the names of the original objects. But if we add something, if we rename this, we say, for example, IW guy again, linked copy. Now everything is called IW guy and then followed by the dot and a number. And that also works the same with unlinked copy as well. But if, for example, we want to be more specific, what we can also do is we can use an asterisk for the original name followed by, for example, we could say maybe lot 0, and we could and also add something in front of it. So we could say prop underscore asterisk underscore lot 0, enter. Linked copy. So there we go. Prop circle 001 lot 0. So these were the original names, and now they are also part of the new names, but with the prefix and suffix. It's important to note that you can only add the star once. So if we do this, we'll get the same name, except it's going to have an underscore at the end, but not the full name again. It only is going to put the full name in there once. And other than that, the asterisks, they will be ignored. So if I add multiples here, do it like this, there's not going to be any asterisks in the name. However, if we try this with the merged copy, it's going to create exactly the name that is in here, because it's not going to take any of the original names. So with the merged copy, you just get exactly what you put in there. Then there's clear parents. So we take, for example, this object. So the hierarchy of this whole thing, this is the parent empty, and then there's another one parented to like at his pelvis, and then inside of there's another dummy that just takes care of the upper torso, and like I have these ones that take care of the legs, and then there's a little hierarchy going down the legs, and I created an animation on the guy too. We'll get into that in a second, but so the setup with the hierarchy is something that we can take into account when creating the new copy. So let's say I want to select this one, which is parented to that one. And then I will say create merge copy, and I'm gonna also click this one right here, include children. What that does is it automatically does the following. So instead of me having to say Ctrl G, select group children, and then having all of the things that are child objects of this one included into what I want to merge, I can just say include children. And now if I hit this button, there we go. So you can also see this new object is still parented to this original parent right there. And that is because we disabled clear parents. So if we try that again and then merge copy, oh, sorry, I should have enabled it first. Clear parent enabled, merge copy, now it's no longer parented. Similarly, if we select everything here, or actually I only have to select the parent object because include children is enabled. We can say linked copy. It will not be linked to the original parent, but it will have all of the linking inside of itself. Unlinked copy will work the same. So it is an exact duplicate of what we started with, and because it is linked copy, it also is linked to the data. So, but if we did the same with clear parents enabled, and we say linked copy, now we don't have the hierarchical linking set up anymore. So all of this is flattened as well. So be careful with that. Like, depending on what you want, you might want to turn it off or on. Yeah, so we already looked at what include children does, and you can work with that in all kinds of different ways. So we could, for example, well, we can select the parent of the whole group, but we can also say, like, let's just select this one, which is the parent of the arm, merge copy, and there we go. That's just the arm now. Linked copy. Oh, I know what happened. That was a little bit unexpected, but this one, this object is scaled negatively once when it was created. So, like, if I select this one and say merge copy, it is going to move it over there. If I use it with this one, oh, let me see. Oh, okay. So linked copy will take the scaling, the negative scaling, and move it 7 units inside of to the x over the x-axis, but because it is negatively scaled, it's going over there. That doesn't happen with merge copy because it applies the scaling to the whole object before it offsets it. So that's why we where there's that difference. Unlinked copy will also move it to that direction if it is negatively scaled. So yeah, we can also, for example, select 2 objects at the same time and say merge copy. That will do it like that. So there's select new. If we say merge copy, so it kind of makes sense, right? Like select new, it will select a new object that is created. If we turn that off, it can be very handy because you'll be able to create a new copy, but you still have your original selection is maintained. So you don't always want to actually select that newly created object. Sometimes you just want to make it and keep it. Because, for example, we might be able to, we might be working on something silly like this where we like position him in a new pose and increase the offset a bit further. Try again. So I might set this to like somewhere over there, even further. There you go. And there we go. So you can see how it is convenient to sometimes be able to, yeah, keep the original object selected instead of immediately going to the new one. Yeah, then like as you saw, I don't know if I mentioned that before, we can have animation on an object too, and it will just, of course, like merge it as the object is visible. And we can also, let's say, put this back to 5. Like whenever we create a linked or unlinked copy, it will, you know, copy the animation along with it as well. But if we say merge copy, then the animation is just baked into the mesh, and there's no more keyframes on that newly created object. Then there's unify normals. For that one to show what happens exactly, we have to turn on face orientation, and now if I hit merge copy, we'll see actually that these objects, they are inverted, so their normals are pointing inward. The way you would normally handle that is you go into the mesh, select everything, and then you can hit Shift N, which is recalculate normals, or you can hit Alt N, and then that same option is available here, recalculate outside. But I made that something that's available right off the top here, so we can just enable that, select the parent or all the things you want to merge, and there we go. Now there's no more inverted geometries. It's just something to be careful with, because it doesn't always give the exactly desired results, because sometimes it's difficult for Blender to know what is inside or outside. In general, I would just recommend to turn on face orientation whenever you're like merging objects. Then there's the collection management. Whenever you have a selection and you have an active object in there with merged copy, it's gonna just try to put the new object in the same folder, or the same collection, I should say. If there is no active object, then it's gonna put the new object in the scene collection, so the root of the scene, basically, because it didn't really know which object to use as a reference for where it needs to go. And that is basically what happens with automatic mode. If you're using linked or unlinked copy, what it will do is it's gonna put things in the same folder as the originals were. So this is now all in that same did I say folder? I meant collection. So IW guy 1. I might create a new collection here, and it's IW guy 2. I want to create a copy, but I want it to end up in IW guy 2. So I'm going down into the drop down, and there is right here IW guy 2. So I'm going to select that. That's the target collection now, and I can create a linked copy, and there we go. We have the same hierarchy, like, is now present in both collections. And if I would do the same with a merged copy, it's going to also add that to this collection right there. And now we can go back to automatic mode, because what is good to know here is if you're in automatic mode and you create linked copies, then it's going to try and put the objects in the same collection as they were originally. So linked copy, now you can see one ended up, wait, let me, XYZ, so along the Y-axis, linked copy. So, all right, this one is going to be in the first, and this one is going to be in the second collection. And if we set it to, this is the other option, scene collection, you can just force things to go to the root as well. So we have all the collections in the whole scene, but we also have the root, and then there's automatic mode at the top. Then I just wanted to quickly show we can also use merged copy or advanced copy on like more scene type objects. So right here, there's this diorama, and it's set up in hierarchy 2, where we have the parent, and then these are the rocks. There's this parent, it's the stairs. I'm just gonna select the parent, include children as enabled. I'll also enable clear parents, merge copy, and there we go. That's our new mesh, which is an exact copy of what we have right here. And this is all in the instanced geometry, and that's parented. So it's a pretty complex setup, but the result of it is very simple. And that is, I think, really the power of advanced copy. You can have like really complex setups that it doesn't really matter, because whether the hierarchy is like really deep, or if you have lots of crazy modifiers on top of everything, it's just gonna take everything, merge it into like a visual mesh, a visual copy, and do the rest of the things that you set to do. Yeah, and we can also just take, for example, just this part, of course, merge copy. Yeah, so thanks very much for watching. I hope it'll be useful. And let me get our guy back. Goodbye.